Hey friends, Allison Hillman here. I am the Allison in BTP by Allison Been There Photography, and this is another episode of Lady Boss Branding's 3-2-1 Blast, where I'm bringing you the best St. Louis has to offer in the way of small businesses. Today is no different. I have the LegalShield expert here with me. Miss Allison, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. It's a beautiful day.
I am so thrilled to have you here. So, Allison is a giver. She is the other Allison in my networking world. We are in a same group together, and sometimes it gets confusing when people are asking questions because I'm like, oh, you're not talking to me. So, Allison, I love that. So your background is in education. I know you do tutoring and things like that, but that truly carries over to your LegalShield side of things. You're constantly helping with workshops and things like that. And especially in this time with the coronavirus, you are giving a wealth of knowledge, especially when it comes to identity theft and just the different protections people can have. So how has this changed your world right now?
Well, right now, actually, it's changed in that there's more momentum. It's really truly a time where people, maybe they've had questions in the past and weren't willing to ask them. And now they're kind of in a place where they're like, whoa, this is bigger than me. And I do need some expertise. I need someone who really knows the ins and outs of what's happening right now and what could happen to my family or to my business.
So I have an HR background, so I'm familiar with LegalShield and what it is and everything. But those at home may have never heard about it. So tell me a little bit about what it is, what it isn't, and how it can help.
Okay, great. So what it is it is a service, a legal service that you can purchase for the same price you would pay an attorney. Let's be honest, attorneys are expensive. The same price you pay for an hour of an attorney's time, a good attorney's time, let's be honest about that. You can have our service for just about a year, and that works the same for a family, and that works for a business too, because we know business attorneys are, have a bigger price point. So with that, we are able to answer any questions. We are able to look over documents and contracts. We're able to, on the personal and family side, we're able to do a will for all of our, calls, write letters on the behalf, and there's no other charges that come to our members. Then there's some things that fall under a fee, and that's like, if you have a traffic ticket, if there are court fees. Now the attorney part is included, but the court fees are not. And then also we go into things like IRS audit assistance, time of the year for that, obviously. Sure. And then definitely if someone, as we kind of jokingly say, if you rob a 7-Eleven and there's a criminal charge, we can't do that for the small monthly fee that we do it for. However, we do always give a discount. So if it falls under something that's the other category, there is a discount. So overall, we are keeping money in people's pockets, but yet helping them in a situation where it might be an advantage to them to have an attorney's expertise.
Perfect. So right now, folks are at home, a lot of stress, even me, some things, I'm pretty savvy when it comes to scams and stuff like that. There's some pretty good looking, people have worked hard to make some of this stuff look legit and good. What advice do you have for them? For those at home that are seeing the emails and the Facebook posts and things like that?
Yeah, the really interesting part about that question is also I have a real big concern for seniors because, my own parents are in their 80s. I was just at an account, did a visit in March right before we had to stay at home. And, it was really concerning to me that I was helping one of my members go through their email, talking about scams and things like that, and realizing that they were really on that edge, and they're probably falling for some things because people, they want to trust. That's the thing, is that, people with good hearts want to trust. And so that's where my concern lies. And I've seen it too. I post on my own business page, hey, look how real this looks. My own family, my parents got phone calls with the correct grandson's name. They've gotten those phone calls. money. Now, thank goodness, my parents are that kind where they're a little hard-headed and they're like, oh, I know that this isn't real. My grandsons are not calling me for this.
Right.
But my concern is definitely the ones that look very real. I got one from a very well-known creditor a couple weeks ago. I do business with them. That's the thing, is they're savvy. A lot of times they're the ones you do business with. And it was the right logo, but I know in my mind what I'm looking for. What are the scams when they're asking for that personal information?
What are 3 tips right now to look for a scam of that nature?
So a scheme of that nature, I would say one thing is, are they asking you to click on a link without really saying a whole lot about who they are? That's one piece. That's a red flag for me. They're asking in some way, shape, or form for your personal information, and misspellings. There is always some kind of misspelling, something that's off. About what they're saying, that or it might be a language. I'll just throw that fourth one in. There might be a language barrier there, because a lot of times these are coming from overseas. You need to realize. So, okay.
So what has LegalShield done that's different? How are they helping during this Corona COVID-19 time?
Yeah, so right now we have a COVID-19 resource center that was set up. All the questions that are coming into our law firms and the questions that are coming into our licensed investigators for the identity theft. And with that, there's a website. It's open to anybody. You don't have to be my member. And I really love that. I love to tell people what they can do.
I love that.
Yeah. And so what I want to say to people is, there's a lot of information out there, but is it the legal side? Is it the identity theft side? Is it really that pointed piece that you need? And our attorneys in a conference we had this past weekend, one of our attorneys said, hey, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of information and people don't know, but we know, because it's our business to know. We know so yeah, I feel awesome about that and about the law firms that we have representing us.
And if you're watching at home, you can look above. If you're on Facebook, the link will be above. And if you're on YouTube, scroll a little bit down to the description and it'll be right there. Allison, this is just, you're always a wealth of knowledge and just completely always teaching. You're always teaching me, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, folks, I always say you have to keep business personal. And especially when you're going to getting legal help and things of like that nature, you need to make sure people match your personality, your values, and things of that nature. So, Allison, why don't we dive in a little bit and get to know you just a little bit better? I'm going to get my timer pulled up. I try to stick to 3 minutes. It never works, but at least it can somewhat keep me on track.
This is the fun part.
This is the fun part. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
What motivates you to work hard?
Oh, awesome. So, a little emotional right there is that I have a vision to work with kids in Africa every year for the rest of my life. And so this is a vision that I would say came to me because I wasn't looking for it in 2007. And I've had the opportunity to go twice now. And so I'm working up to that. I'm working up to my dream is to go for 1 month out of every year for the rest of my life and work with kids. And one was in a school. The other one was, helping the orphans, like over 800 orphans around one village in Africa.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I'm an adoptive mom, so that's my heart.
Yeah.
What's the most daring thing you've ever done?
So part of one of those trips was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and
cool.
Yeah. And next to that, so I've shared on some of our networking things. Next to that is sitting on the front of a sailboat with my feet dangling over the edge in Hawaii. That's when I can't see the bottom of water, it's a fear thing for me. And so I just chose to test that, and I loved it.
Very cool. Is there anything that you wish would come back into fashion?
Oh my gosh, because I'm from the 90s, so none of that stuff really. I don't know why, and it's not that I really want it. I just want to say what it brought to mind was like when I was little, we had these rompers, and we have some of those today. Actually, they kind of have, and they always tie at the top, adjustable, which is nice. So I know that was great for my family as we grew, that we could just kind of adjust for a while. You could get away with it. But they would come in every, every kind of color and every kind of pattern. So maybe those.
I love that. So you're definitely a family person. What's your favorite family tradition?
I would say Christmas. A few years ago, we decided to make Christmas gifts for one another.
Oh, I love that.
For a few years, we did that for about 5 years, and it helped me. I had my sister's name one year, and so I learned how to knit. And so that has continued today where, I still haven't moved past scarves. However, I like to do that, and I like to give something that is handmade.
Awesome. So with everyone stuck inside now, is there anything that you're binging on Netflix or Hulu?
Absolutely not. I'll be honest. I haven't watched any because I'm busy.
Good. That's a good thing.
It is. And I'm certainly grateful that I have that, and it all transitioned very well to working mobile, and I'm not, however, I will say what I'm wanting to get to is the 3rd season of Ozark. And I'm glad.
I just finished it. Whoo! Girl. That's all I'm going to say. Whoo!
Over the top the whole time, so I can only imagine, but I've heard it went to another level. So
it went to a whole new category. Whoo! All right, St. Louis lightning round. What is your favorite St. Louis zoo animal?
My favorite, elephants. Yes, especially the babies.
You have that in common with a lot. I don't know if you can hear it. Jace is making his presence known in the background. All right, what is your favorite St. Louis zoo attraction? Or not zoo attraction, St. Louis attraction.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to say the Arch, because I did a lot of my training there, and specifically the grounds. They've really done an awesome thing with beautifying the place. But I ran the steps in order to train, so it's kind of got my heart.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. That was something, they had just started the construction right after we moved here, and it was worth every bit of that hell of driving through it. You have friends that come to visit St. Louis, and they say, show us the city. Where are you taking them?
I'm definitely taking them to Ted Drew's. My favorite's Pistachio. And then if they like sports, we'll do the sports. I love Soulard, I do, and being part of that group. And we've got to check out a few of the restaurants and bars there for sure.
What's your favorite Soulard restaurant?
A little bit partial to Mission Taco. That's where my boyfriend and I had our first date. And he didn't know that I had been there the previous 4 nights with another friend of mine who had just moved to town and loved it. Yeah. So, so Mission Taco. And, I'm really growing with, I love the Protagonist coffee shop that has just moved in. It's pretty.
It's one of my favorite new spots in the city.
Yeah. But how could we limit it? I'm having a hard time limiting. I'm like, oh gosh, I have so many friends, that own those.
That's why I narrowed it down to Soulard, because I've been asking what's your favorite St. Louis, but since you're a neighborhood girl, I had to throw that in there. All right, what's your favorite touristy thing to do in St. Louis?
My favorite touristy thing, I definitely love the zoo, the botanical gardens. I love that we have free stuff. And my next spot, even though it's not free, I definitely want to do the aquarium and the wheel. Those are new attractions I can't wait to be a part of.
Absolutely. Allison, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you.
You're always such a wealth of knowledge, and you're a teacher in every bit of it. Thanks for joining me. This has been another episode of Lady Boss Branding's 3, 2, 1 blast, where we're keeping business personal. Remember, every time a small business owner makes a sale, they do a little happy dance. So make sure you're shopping local and putting a little groove back into our world. Have a great day.